Good morning friends. Many of our viewers have asked us about chikungunya fever and chikungunya arthritis and its treatment. So friends, I will be covering detailed treatment of chikungunya fever and chikungunya joint pains in the end of this talk. First, I will be covering about what is chikungunya and how is it spread and how can you diagnose about chikungunya arthritis. Chikungunya is basically a mosquito-borne disease which is spread by a mosquito which is called as Aedes aegypti. This is a day-biting mosquito and is very common in tropical climates. This disease was first recorded in Tanzania in 1953 and since then it has become widespread all over the world. This disease is particularly common in Indian subcontinent with more spread specifically in wet areas and areas which have a tropical sort of climate. This virus is alpha virus and is a family of Toga virus family. The disease can be divided by and large into two groups, acute phase and chronic phase. The acute phase of the disease is by definition less than 3 months and any disease which is more than 3 months is basically called as a chronic phase of the disease. Now acute phase of the disease can again be classified or talked about into two phases. One is an acute viremic phase. This is a phase when there is a viremia, there is a viral circulation whole through the body and it is the initial 5 to 10 days of the fever, and in this period you have a high grade fever along with polyarthalgia, myalgia, weakness all over the body, joint pains all over the body, joint swelling all over the body, swelling in the eyes, conjunctivitis, redness over the body which is called as an exanthema, occasionally rashes may also be seen. And after that there is a post-viremic phase where the fever subsides but all these symptoms of weakness, joint pains may remain, and this is basically an immune mediated phase. So the post-viremic phase is basically a immunological phase. Now how do we diagnose a case of chikungunya arthritis? First we do a routine blood investigations and normally the WBC count, the RBC count and platelet counts are all decreased. The patient may have an elevated creatinine and elevated liver enzymes, that is SGPT and SGOT. Also, the specific test is an RT-PCR test which is very specific for chikungunya arthritis, but the problem with this test is this is only positive in an acute viremic phase. So the RT-PCR test will be positive in only about initial 7 to 10 days of the disease. So if you are doing a test later, then this test may be false negative. So chikungunya fever early phase you can do an RT-PCR test, but if you are late then ideally you should do the antibody test. Now there are two types of antibody tests which are available. One is an IgM antibody of chikungunya and this usually starts increasing at about 3 days of the fever. In 5 to 10 days it increases and it is peak at about 3 weeks and it subsides at about 3 months. So this is an acute phase antibody which increases slowly over the course of the disease. When the fever subsides it increases further, is at its maximal value at 3 weeks and then it subsides at 3 months. So it subsides by the level the acute phase ends. The third test which is very commonly done, it is IgG test for chikungunya. This antibody starts appearing after 7 days of the disease and it can be positive for years. So this is a sign of a past chikungunya infection. Now this point of time I like to emphasize that chikungunya arthritis or chikungunya joint pains are more common in patients who have osteoarthritis, who have hypertension, who have renal problems, heart problems, or any kind of a chest related problems. So this is also associated with other immune mediated joint diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and seronegative spondyloarthropathy. Now, what are the symptoms of a chikungunya arthritis or chikungunya joint pains? Now, chikungunya joint pains can involve both small joints and large joints. More commonly, it involves lot of joints, that is called as a polyarthritis. The more commonly involved joints are ankle, knee joint, hip joint, wrist joint, elbow joint, and small joints of fingers like MCP joints. Also, there can be bursitis and tendinitis. So you can have bursitis in the shoulder, Achilles tendinitis, and tendinitis of the extensor and flexors of the hand, and like that. Also, you can have tenosynovitis. So different kind of immunological and musculoskeletal swelling phenomenon can occur because of chikungunya arthritis. Now, there are some patients who will progress to a chronic disease, and there are some patients who will not progress to a chronic disease. Nobody knows which of the patients will progress to a chronic stage, but the actual incidence is around 5% to 75%. So a wide variation of differences among how much percentage of patients will go into a chronic phase, that is, they will have a increased swelling all over the body for a long duration of time. Here I would like to emphasize that there are some high risk patients in which this conversion is high, and these patients are patients who are aged more than 45 years, who have a high viral load, that is more than 10 raised to power 9, and patients who have a severe immune response. You must also understand that in about 20% of patients, these symptoms will be accompanied by neurologic symptoms, that is, the patients will also have weakness, will also have numbness, and will also have motor weakness of the upper limbs or lower limbs. So neurological symptoms can also be present in about 20% of the patients. Now we come to the most common question that all the patients ask is, if we have a chikungunya fever and chikungunya joint pain, what is the treatment which we should take? So again, we will divide it into two: treatment of acute phase, that is the fever, and the treatment of chronic phase, that is the treatment of joint pain. So first we'll talk about the acute phase, fever phase. So if you have fever and malaise, joint pain and weakness in the body along with joint swelling, you need to start with basic tablet, that is paracetamol, that is for fever, and it can be taken up to 4 grams a day dose, total dose. You can take 500 mg maybe 4 times a day, or 1 gram up to 3 times a day, like that. So you can take paracetamol for fever. You need to maintain adequate hydration, that is, you need to drink a lot of water, you need to take a lot of fluid, you need to drink a lot of juices, etc. So a lot of these juices and fluids you need to take. You can also, if the condition is very bad, you can be admitted and some IV fluids can also be started. For pain and swelling, you can be prescribed a NSAID, that is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, namely diclofenac, aceclofenac, piroxicam, etoposide, piroxicam, naproxen, etc. These tablets should always be taken under supervision of a competent physician. Also, if the pain is very significant, you can also be prescribed opioid medications, that is fentanyl, tramadol, pethidine, etc. These pain medications are basically for pain and they do not decrease the inflammation. Supposedly, if you have neuropathic symptoms like numbness or weakness in the muscles, you can also be prescribed medications like gabapentin, pregabalin, or tricyclic antidepressants like amitriptyline. Very occasionally, if the symptoms are very bad, you can be prescribed a short course of corticosteroids that is usually prescribed in the dose of 0.5 mg per kg maximum. So you can be prescribed prednisolone in about 5 to 10 mg dose. But be careful, always take these tablets under medical prescription only. You don't have to self-meditate these tablets because these tablets can have significant adverse effect in some cases. Now we come to the most commonly asked question, that is treatment of chikungunya joint pains. Now this is a very common problem that I see in my OPD practice. Patients who have a history of fever in the past, which is probably an acute phase of chikungunya fever, and following that they have joint pains and occasional swelling in the joint. Now these patients need to be treated with pain medications, specifically called as non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and there is a plethora of these drugs which are available, and these tablets can be prescribed in specific dosage to reduce the pain and the swelling relating to the joint, and these tablets can be taken as per prescription. These tablets will decrease both the pain as well as the swelling inside the joint. Along with that, in specific cases, opioid tablets like tramadol and other opioid tablets can also be prescribed. If a patient is having persistent joint pain and swelling for a long duration of time, ideally we also consider doing tests related to immunological disorders like rheumatoid factor, anti-CCP antibody and HLA-B27, and if any of these is positive along with a history of chikungunya fever, we also treat these tablets with disease modifying agents like methotrexate in weekly dosage as prescribed by a competent physician, preferably a rheumatologist, hydroxychloroquine, sulfasalazine, and occasionally we also give a biological treatment for these tablets. Prednisolone and steroid tablets can be given for short duration of time. Occasionally, if you have neurological symptoms, again you can take gabapentin, pregabalin and tricyclic antidepressant for a chronic long-standing neuropathic joint pain condition. Also, occasionally there is also a role of some newer antiviral tablets like Fabiflu for an acute phase of chikungunya, but it is under study. The role is still experimental. So friends, I hope that I am able to clear all your doubts pertaining to the chikungunya fever and chikungunya joint pain. If you have any more doubts, you can write on the comment box, and we have a number which we have given. If you want to take an online consultation, you can contact us on the particular number. Thanks a lot.